Shortly, the Vice-chancellor, accompanied by the academic procession, will enter the graduation hall. Once they've taken their positions on stage, Advance Australia Fair will be played, and we invite you to join in the singing of our national anthem. Would you please stand for the academic procession?
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country.
Thank you. Budjamullinawul, everyone. Good morning. Nalawa. Welcome to the lands of the Wallamedigal. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish firstly to pay my respects to the country and its people, and to thank the university for their acknowledgement of us and the invitation to welcome you here today. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated. My family descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and cleverman of the Burrabongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. So he enrolled his daughter, Bulgari, or Maria, into the Native Institute, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie. She studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where the present-day city of Blacktown gets its name. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here today. And with good reason. Your success is our success, your advancement, our advancement. Now that was probably better understood in more traditional times when camp groups were smaller and clans abided by strict sharing laws, which meant that the food that you caught and brought back was distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortune were thus enjoyed by all. Your efforts literally nourished the rest of the community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we work together. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly lived well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a model or a benchmark on how good to expect our lives today. You see, when Captain Cook arrived here a little over 240 years ago, he encountered people whom he described as one of the happiest people he'd ever met. They owned nothing but the tools they carried. They made their shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and harvested food from the earth without excessive tilling or clearing. Now, these were not primitive societies, these were ancient cultures. So there was no slavery, no rich and poor, no rents or mortgages, and no homelessness. People cooperated to collect the resources which were needed, and then they were shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained with fire and responsible harvesting. Our rivers and waterways kept clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. So remember, this is not an ideal or a dream. This was normal life for us and for the longest time. And there is no reason why we should expect less for ourselves today than in what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us, but we're a clever people and there's still much magic in the world, I believe. So graduates, I would say expect great and wonderful things from your life. Life is good and we are naturally a happy and healthy people. I would suggest that we look after the country better and share your gifts with the rest of us. Now, I think if we do this and follow that beautiful spirit within you that got you this far, that we can together create a country and a world that we can be proud of and one that is worthy of our children. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine now by winding up and letting you graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of you and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you and welcome to country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce the Vice-chancellor of Macquarie University, Professor Bruce Doughton.
Well, thank you, Chris Tobin, for your wonderful, warm and generous welcome to country. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. Colleagues, guests, families, friends, and most importantly, our graduands here today. It is my distinct honour and pleasure to welcome you all to this graduation ceremony. I bring our graduands the greetings of our Chancellor, the Honourable Michael Egan, AO, who is unable to be here with us this morning, and so I will be presiding. I hope that this occasion will be a very happy and memorable one for each of you as our graduands. As I came in today in the procession, I saw, in fact, we have a number of small children present here today, and I think I even spotted a young baby. And I want to make especially welcome having young children here today. Our Chancellor, Mr. Egan, notes, and I believe he's correct, that any celebration is always made better by having children present. And don't think things have changed very much since I was a young boy, and that the potential to sit quietly or not move around for an hour and a half or so is probably vanishingly small, and I don't want the children to feel as though they can't be children. Be happy, run around, make as much commotion as you like. I'm a paediatrician by professional training and background, so I can assure you I've heard far worse in my consulting rooms than any commotion children could make here today. And if our Chancellor were here, he would note that as a retired politician, he's certainly heard far worse rancour and screaming in the House of Parliament than any number of children could make here today. So children should feel especially welcome, and I don't want parents to take them out of the room if they start to make a bit of a racket. It's all perfectly fine. Now, I'm so glad that you're all here today as we celebrate the wonderful achievements of our graduands. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind, determination and perseverance, and of course you all make many sacrifices along the way as well. You've all worked very hard to get to this day and have every right to feel very proud of your accomplishments. We at the university are also very proud of those accomplishments that you have achieved, and I'll be pleased to congratulate each of you personally shortly after the degrees are conferred. I also would like to especially welcome those folks down the back on my right and all of our guests over here. The fact that you have been invited here today by one of our graduands to help celebrate this wonderful milestone in their lives is proof positive that you have been a very important influence and made a contribution very significantly to their journey through Macquarie University. So to our invited guests, I offer you a particularly warm welcome and thank you for coming along to help us celebrate this wonderful occasion. Now, graduands, you may not realise that you are about to participate in one of Europe's oldest social rituals. If you were to pick a date of, say, 1500 AD and look back to see how many institutions existed back then, all those centuries ago, that still exist today, there are in fact about 60 such institutions. If you take away the parliaments of England, Iceland and the Isle of Man, the Roman Catholic Church and 6 Swiss cantons or local government areas, the rest are in fact all universities. In fact, graduation ceremonies are even older than that. For more than 800 years, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones you are all wearing today and participating in ceremonies very similar to the one we are about to embark upon. And since those earliest days of graduations, the ceremony has remained essentially almost unchanged, a defining feature in the life of every Western university and of every student's experience. Of course, we all realise that Macquarie University is not one of those ancient universities, for we are just over 50 years old. Though we are among the youngest universities in the world, we are very proud indeed to take part in this time-honoured ceremony with you all here today. Youth, however, does have advantages. Here at Macquarie, we're a very modern and outward-looking university. We are regarded as one of Australia's leading research-intensive universities and are continually progressing our research, our course offerings and modernising our facilities. We now have over 185,000 graduates spread across 140 countries around the world. It's very clear that we are looking forward and that as a university we are on the move. However, some of the things that we value so much at Macquarie University I anticipate and hope will never change. Visitors often remark upon the friendliness and welcome of our staff and students to newcomers, and I hope that will always continue. And remember, graduands, you will always be welcome back at your university, Macquarie University. Now, we proudly take our name, Macquarie University, from, in my view, Australia's greatest colonial governor, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, whose greatness and achievements were never acknowledged by his contemporaries but really only by history. Those of us educated in New South Wales learned that Macquarie was a great builder, and that is certainly true. If you look at the colonial buildings in central Sydney and far beyond, many of them have his name attached to them. But I believe his greatest legacy had nothing to do with bricks and mortar. It was the ethos he established, much, mind you, to the annoyance of the British authorities at the time, of an egalitarian society. Because it was Macquarie's insistence that in this fledgling convict colony, there would be no distinction between the free man and the freed man. So a man who had come to the colony as a convict, served his time and been freed, should be treated exactly the same as a free settler who had arrived with the early garrisons. And we believe that is the foundation of the Australian notion of a fair go for all. And that is the legacy here at Macquarie University that we will always try to uphold, maintain and honour. Now, notwithstanding Governor Macquarie's greatness, it is fair to acknowledge that some of his actions would certainly not pass muster today. For instance, removing Aboriginal children from their families, even for the purpose of education, would certainly not be tolerated today. I wonder, graduands, how many things we accept today that we will look back upon in future times with shame. One of the attributes that I certainly hope as Vice-chancellor of Macquarie University that we impart to all of our students is the capacity for moral and ethical reflection, a yearning to always help to right the wrongs, not just of the past, but also in our own time. Macquarie University will always be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of wisdom, knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. Ladies and gentlemen, academic and professional colleagues, and most importantly, our graduands, I offer you the warmest of welcomes this morning to Macquarie University on this grand occasion. And in just a few moments, it will be my very great honour to confer upon you your degrees and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Now in the proceedings, it is my great pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker, Ms. Donna Wright. Ms. Wright holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree with honours from the University of Manitoba in Canada. She's a chartered accountant, including a business valuation specialist and a certified fraud examiner. She began her career as an auditor with Deloitte in Canada before going on secondment to Paris. She began her specialisation in forensic accounting when she moved to New York, and she has been in Australia since 2001. Ms. Wright acts as an expert witness and has provided expert testimony in all the major court jurisdictions across this land. She has been involved in many high-profile and complex matters, such as the Black Saturday bushfires class action and the current Banking Royal Commission. She is currently a member of the Global Finance and Audit Committee of Amnesty International and the chair of the National Forensic Accounting Committee of Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. I now invite Ms. Donna Wright to deliver the occasional address. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Wright.
Vice-chancellor, members of the faculty, staff, distinguished guests, graduates, and their friends and families. Firstly, congratulations, graduates, not only on achieving this amazing milestone in your careers and your lives, but also on your perfectly timed run to the finish line. As graduates in accounting and corporate governance, you will surely be in demand these days. You need look no further than the daily headlines right at the moment to see what a shortage of effective governance we find ourselves in, not only in Australia but around the world. The Banking Royal Commission is a perfect example. With proper governance over the last decade, we would probably not find ourselves in this position of having to conduct a very public and judicial inquiry into the conduct of corporate organisations. I think we would all agree the daily conduct of companies is not a place the judiciary should have to be. When I was sitting in your place, it was quite a different world. We were all reading the book Barbarians at the Gate about the world of leverage buyouts and hostile takeovers. And we were in the era of Gordon Gekko's "Greed is Good" speech in the movie Wall Street. I know most of you weren't born then, so you'll have to Google Gordon Gekko later. In fact, the commerce grads in my year had the "Greed is Good" speech printed on t-shirts. Not probably so appropriate today. There was no such thing as a Department of Accounting and Governance. I'm sure governance was a word, but it certainly wasn't used in the Commerce Department. Well, 25 years, at least one recession, one global financial crisis, and now a Banking Royal Commission later, I'm not quite sure that "greed is good" was the most appropriate motto for us to adopt at that time. Yes, we do need some people with some greed to continue to innovate and push the boundaries. We do need people who are willing to take risks. And to be perfectly honest, if it weren't for greed, forensic accountants like me would probably be out of a job. But we also need to balance that greed and risk-taking by also valuing the people who are interested in governance and managing risk. I wonder whether, if more commerce grads from the 80s and 90s had gone for governance roles in the boardroom rather than doing deals in the trade room, whether we'd be in the situation we're in today. I have no doubt that the current headlines and governance deficit will create opportunities for people like you. In fact, tomorrow, the interim report will be issued in relation to the Banking Royal Commission. It will no doubt create some fascinating case studies for next year's students, but you guys will be living it in real life and working in those situations next year. I've had a more interesting and challenging career and life than I ever could have imagined, and it can all be traced back to my commerce degree and subsequent training as a chartered accountant. So how will you capitalise on your opportunities and possibilities? My journey began a long time ago in a far, far away place, a small city called Winnipeg in Canada. I saw the commerce degree as a ticket to a whole new world, and it certainly has been that. I started as an auditor with Deloitte in Winnipeg, and 4 years ago, I was asked by a global consulting firm to start their Australian forensic practice, and I can assure you there's never been a dull moment in between. So what will your journey look like? Where will you be in 10 or 20 years from now? Where do you want to be? How will you get from here to there and create your own amazing career? Here are a few principles that have served me well on my journey. First, invest the time in building a good foundation, a platform from which to jump off. Now, this might seem like the boring bit and something Mum would say, but the sky's the limit as to where you can end up. And the better you build the platform, the higher you'll be able to soar later on. Jump off too soon and you'll limit how far you can go. I think this is particularly important for commerce and accounting graduates. Many of you will have graduate positions in Big Four accounting firms and banks, and it might be largely focused on doing audit and compliance work. It might seem boring at first, but don't underestimate the value of this training. It's like practicing technique for an athlete. In his book Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell talks about 10,000 hours of deliberate practice being a common feature among people who are at the top of their game. So no matter what task you're doing or how unimportant it might seem at the time, especially in the first few years, find the learning in it. And always give it 110%, no matter how easy or small the task may seem. The people you're working for will notice, and they'll help you find your next challenge and your next opportunity. From day one, I've always tried to go the extra mile for the people I've been working for, and that investment has come back to me many times over. In turn, those people have each supported me, and each one has somehow helped me to the next step of my journey. Second, find out what you're great at. Not just good, but great. Worry less about what the person beside you is doing, and more about what differentiates you from that person. What is your niche? What is the one thing you're better at than anyone else? What makes you you? And then find an environment where your unique combination of skills and attributes is valued. Those are the key ingredients to a successful and fulfilling career. There are certainly times when I think about whether I could or should be doing something else, maybe something easier and less demanding, maybe something that doesn't require having to sit in a witness box and be cross-examined. But then I think about my own particular combination of skills and attributes, the things that I'm good at and the things I'm not, and the combination of my own skills and personality traits. That combination will be unique to every single one of you. If you're going to spend at least 10,000 hours doing something, you might as well spend it doing something you love. And if you do, I guarantee you those hours will fly by like seconds. Third, be open to change and opportunity. You never know where your career might take you. And the amazing thing about a commerce or accounting degree is it can take you anywhere. Mine has literally taken me to the four corners of the world. If someone had told me when I was sitting where you are today with my commerce degree in hand from a small university in Canada that I would end up standing here giving a speech to a group of graduates in Sydney, Australia, I never would have believed it. My career has taken me from Winnipeg to Paris to New York to Hong Kong to Singapore to Mauritania to the Congo. I've been in hospitals and factories and mines and banks. I've also had the opportunity to join the boards of some amazing not-for-profit organizations like Amnesty International. Just this week, I was giving expert evidence in court in relation to a $1 billion alleged gold bullion tax fraud scheme. You can Google that one too. I've been helping one of the big four banks through the Royal Commission, and now I'm standing here talking to you. Every single day is different than the last. Some of that is being in the right place at the right time. But you can certainly look for those opportunities and let others know that you're open to them. And if you've done the first two things I spoke about, you will have positioned yourself to take advantage of those opportunities when you find, or even better, create them for yourselves. Let's face it, by the time one of you is standing up here, you'll probably be doing a job that doesn't even exist today. So in summary, put in the effort to build a good foundation, find your niche and set the direction, but then be open to wherever that path may take you. Accounting and governance is about so much more than the numbers. It's about asking the right questions at the right time and not stopping until you're satisfied with the answer. When I moved to Australia in 2001, we were in the middle of investigating the largest corporate collapse in Australia, which led to another finance-related earlier Royal Commission, and that was the collapse of insurance company HIH, which again, most of you probably won't remember. But in his findings from that Royal Commission back in 2003, Justice Owen wrote words that unfortunately still ring very true to this day. He said, "Did anyone stand back and ask themselves the simple question, is this right?" For a more current reference to the same issue, I encourage you all to read the book Bad Blood by John Carreyrou about one-time multi-billion-dollar company Theranos that has recently been found to be built on a complete fabrication. It's hard to imagine how that fraud wasn't found sooner. Everyone looked away, no one wanted to believe the truth. To me, Justice Owen's simple question sums up the role of accounting and governance professionals. That's our job, to be the voice of reason that asks, is this right? But I do know that is often easier said than done. I think it takes three important qualities. Number one, critical thinking. Look beneath the surface, do the work, have an analytical mindset, listen to both sides of an argument, and always value substance over form. The person who talks the best talk is often not the one who has the right answer. Number two, confidence. Have the confidence to speak up and give your opinion. Say what you think, not what you think others want to hear. If you've done the analysis, you can have confidence in your opinions, even if they aren't the popular opinion. And finally, most importantly, courage. The right thing to do is usually not the easiest thing to do. Have the courage to not only do the right thing yourself, but also call out when you see others not doing the right thing. At the highest levels, those charged with governance, which will be you, have the power to effect change. You can pull the levers on how people are incentivized, affecting their conduct. You can pull levers on the culture of an organization and affect how individuals are treated and valued in the workplace. You can push for diversity and make sure it's not only tolerated, but truly valued. These are the ingredients that I've added to my commerce degree, and it has taken me places I'd never dreamed, possible. I hope they will help you in some way in your own journey. The people in this room will have the power to change the world, so I hope you use those powers for good. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Wright on a wonderful graduation address delivered in the finest tradition of graduation addresses. And graduands, I would urge you to take heed to those wonderful words of advice that you were offered by Ms. Donna Wright today. And just to note that all of our graduations are actually live streamed and recorded. So if you strike a tough time in your career down the line, I urge you to go back, find the graduation ceremony of Celebration today and re-listen to Ms. Wright's wonderful speech, because there are pearls of wisdom in there about taking the time, particularly to invest time early on, about not underestimating the value of early work, about being prepared for change, and so many other wise words of advice there. I think she deserves another great round of applause. As Vice-chancellor of Macquarie University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring degrees upon those who have complied with all of the university's requirements for such awards. Now, if the Chancellor were here, he would be asking questions out of his anxiety. He expresses a view to graduating classes that this is the moment in the ceremony where he gets a little anxious, because he was told by a very senior member of the judiciary some years ago that if he conferred a degree upon a graduand that wasn't eligible to receive it, it's actually very hard for him to take that degree away. And so he likes to hear from the registrar that you've never missed a class or never been late for an assignment. I'm now going to call upon our registrar, Ms. Gail White, to formally certify your eligibility for the degrees that you are about to be awarded. Registrar.
Vice-Chancellor, I certify that all of the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees please stand?
That's all of you? Yes. This is the moment. In the name of Macquarie University Council and by my authority as Vice-Chancellor delegated from the Council, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees for which you have qualified. Graduates, congratulations.
Vice-Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Business and Economics. And I now call upon Professor Stephen Brammer, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Business and Economics, to present the graduates. Professor Brammer, you can be seated.
Vice-Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Business and Economics. The Faculty of Business and Economics is the largest faculty at Macquarie University and one of the largest in Australia. We're an applied, engaged and global business school. Our role is to create knowledge through applied research in the areas of marketing, management, finance, economics, actuarial studies and accounting. Working with our academic and corporate partners, students and alumni, we create and share knowledge that addresses business and societal challenges. Our programs are innovative and include engagement with industry as well as the development of employability skills. The skills developed are in demand globally. Our programs are recognised and accredited by key industry bodies, and we enjoy a strong reputation amongst the business and professional communities. Our graduates have starting salaries well above the average for all Australian business schools. These graduates have the skills, knowledge and purpose to make a positive contribution to their families, to their communities and to the world. Vice-Chancellor, I'm proud to present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Business and Economics whom you've admitted to degrees. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Finance with the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Professional Accounting, Yushun Fang. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Finance, Ming Xuan Feng. Yihong Wang. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Mohammed Mahassan Ali. Kalyun Aryanbald. Andrew Charles Cameron. Wing Chuk Chan. Jinming Chen. Jui Kai Chen. Yi Bing Chen. Zejin Chen. Hin Chen. Alexander Dang. Tien Dat Dang. Millicent Rose Dawson. And Heli Galvan. Yuan Gao. Kathy Young. Jiahui Guo. Jiarong Gu. Zhejian Guan. Shihao Guo. Jordi Hartanto. Jia Wen He. Je Hyok Hyo. Jongmin Hong. Bin Hu. Shuo Hua Hu. Ye Feng Hu. Wei Hao Huang. Aaron Hutchinson. Eunjung Huangbo. Anthony Hugh Ishkanian. Alan Cass. Sadman Islam Khan. Junyin Ko. Hyun-hee Irene Kim. Juho Lee. Lan Fong Lee. Ben Lee. Kerdoon Lee. Merngley. Yi Xiao Li. Yu Jia Liang. Ching Liu. Chuan Chi Liu. Eugene Liu. Jiao Chi Liu. Christopher Fei Lu. Wan Xin Lu. Seang Feng. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Professional Accounting, Norsaba Abol Hrasemi. Joanne Al-Shafi. Dua Ali Hamed Al-Razaki. Abraham Ali. Joshua Alonso. Hania Amjad. Jisoo An. Sang Liul An. Sifat E. Aman. Shue Fei Bai. Brian Christopher Kanapi Bartolome. Riyasat Masroor bin Mansour. Shannon Hillary Brass. Hui Shue Tsai. Sophia Casho. Suyan Chen. Yushu Chen. Yung Shen Chung. Lin Sui. Na Dai. Litri Duk Dang. Nandira Manisha Danta Narayana. Rhys Davidson. Gillian Louise DeBellin. Christopher Deere. Meghana Devineni. Rosalind Ayat Dewan. Metuni Udara Ediriri Weera Galapati. Mijia Feng. Mitchell Ferguson. Aparna Garg. Gavin Charles Godwin. Jordan Grillo. Yiwen Guo. Yoshiko Hayashi. Xiao Yu He. Ryan Hobbs. Duoling Huang. Hua Chao Huang. Jian Nan Huang. Mingyu Huang. Wei Jie Huang. Wen Yi Huang. Xiaotong Huang. Young Hyun. Monica Ip. Patrick Nadim Jabour. Baojun Ji. Hui Wen Ji. Ye Jin. Efio Anwan Joseph. Harpreet Kaur. William Pedana Kwandu. Elbron Lajin. Daniel Lasala. Li Ni alias Demi Lee. Thomas Lee. Jia Cheng Lee. Lan Shi Li. Chi Wen Lee. Yiran Lee. Aishling Lim. Mingyan Liu. Xiaoba Liu. Yanjun Liu. Maria Lukasheva. Chern Luo. Nigel Vinesh Young. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Advanced Professional Accounting, Lin Kung. Li Kapo. Hui Tan. Jiabin Yu. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Applied Finance, Regina Puiyu Choi. I present the graduate from the Faculty of Arts admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Danya Mani. I present the graduate from the Faculty of Science and Engineering admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Environment, Annalise Megan Kerr. Vice-chancellor, that completes this morning's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Business and Economics.
Vice-Chancellor, I call on Ms. Nadira Manisha Dante Narayana, who has graduated today with a Bachelor of Commerce, Professional Accounting, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Nadira.
Vice-Chancellor, members of the university, fellow graduates and guests. I'm not too sure whose idea it was to place me here on this stage today, especially given that I have a memory of a goldfish, and any attempt to take a trip down memory lane would likely see me unwittingly commit an injustice to those who've helped bring me here today. So on that note, I thought I'd take this opportunity to instead reflect on an overarching and enduring achievement that all of us here today have reached, no matter what we've graduated with. Each and every one of us has faced adversity during the course of our university careers. Some of us have faced even waves of adversity that, in the worst of times, felt relentless and unforgiving. It may have manifested itself in different ways: the loss of a loved one, a serious illness, a breakdown of a relationship, or it may have even directly been related to our studies. Say there was a particular concept within your curriculum that perhaps took 2 weeks for you to understand and apply, while you watched your peers understand and comprehend the solution and complete it right there in the 2 weeks beforehand. But central to this is not the brevity of the adversity, but rather what comes of it. Your presence here today as a graduate is a testament to you facing that adversity and realizing that simply overcoming that adversity wasn't and isn't the solution. Instead, it's using that adversity to build strength to face those waves and swim forward towards the current, or rather against the current. And it's this strength that you've built that will help you navigate the inevitable obstacles that will come in your way in years to come. And today, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank those who've helped us traverse those waves and shape us into the individuals we are today. Our families and friends, our peers, our lecturers, tutors, our leaders. Despite my memory, I could still spend hours reminiscing over our time together and your impact on all of us. And I'll definitely be sure to reach out and thank you. And I encourage you all to do the same. And so while today, some of you may be seeking or have sought a position of employment within your field of study, others may have decided to embark on another path. But whichever path you choose to follow, the lessons you've learnt and the strength you've built during the course of your degree position you for endless possibilities. Your canvas now boasts a degree from a prestigious Australian institution. As to how the rest will be painted, well, that's entirely up to you. Thank you.
Well, Nadira, congratulations on your degree and congratulations on a fine speech here today. And I would urge our graduates to always remember back to those wise words as well about adversity. And that it's not the adversity itself. It feels like it as you're going through it, but it's what you do with it afterwards. It's what you do with it as you're going through it and afterwards that will always stand you in good stead. I think Nadira deserves another great round of applause. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wonderful voice belongs to Ms. Angela Brewer. We're very fortunate indeed to have Angela sing at graduations for Macquarie University. In fact, she sings at most graduations for the university. Occasionally, she's unable to be here, and if the Chancellor is presiding, he always announces that if Angela's not able to be here, he does the singing. And you think I'm joking that he actually did have to sing one day. You'll notice I have not offered to sing, and that's a very good thing for all of you. Please join me in thanking Angela again. I'd like to also thank our wonderful musicians, Dr. James Forsyth on the organ, and Dr. Chai Chang Ing on the Chinese transverse flute. We're very fortunate also to have a number of representatives of the alumni organisation come along to help us out with smooth conduct of graduation. Over to my right and my left, please join me in thanking them as well. Well, graduates, this ceremony marks a change in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it is certainly not the end of your association with us. From today on, for the rest of your lives, you are part of that larger Macquarie family that is our alumni, and part of a network, as I mentioned before, of over 185,000 graduates spanning across the globe. We will keep in touch with you through our Alumni Relations Office, and I hope you will come back to campus, perhaps to attend alumni events, maybe for some more study. I see a few rolled eyeballs at that suggestion there. Perhaps just to visit our beautiful campus and have a wander around. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but it also carries responsibilities as well. I urge you to commit yourselves to a life of lifelong learning. I urge you to set ambitious goals for yourselves. I urge you to continue the hard work that has already brought you this far. I also urge you to think of how you might help others along the way as well. You don't have to do very much sometimes to make a real difference in someone else's life. And you don't have to be Einstein either to change the world. In fact, sometimes simply a kind gesture or a kind word can help another fellow traveller out in a time of distress. So I urge you all to always give thought to what you can do for others along the way. I challenge you to continue to exercise sound judgment and initiative, and to always be generous in offering practical advice and wisdom to those you encounter along the way. My hope is that as new Macquarie University graduates, you will use what you have learned always, not only for your own benefit and the benefit of your families, but for the betterment of the community you're part of and the world at large as well. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. I hope also, graduates, that you will always remember the people who have helped you out along the way, many of whom are here with us today. So to acknowledge their contribution and to thank them for it, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things for me. Firstly, I'd like all of our new graduates to please stand. Now I would like you to turn around and place your testimonies on your seats behind you and face your family and friends and give them a mighty round of applause in appreciation and thanks. Now you can turn around, but don't sit down just yet, as we'll be leaving shortly. Here on the dais are representatives of our academic community who have supported you throughout your journey with us. Please join me in thanking them as well. Now, graduates, please remain standing, but do turn around briefly and pick up your testament from your seats, since I wouldn't like you to leave that behind. Shortly, the official party will leave the courtyard, followed by the graduates. As we do, Dr. Forsyth will play the traditional recessional music of graduation, which has been played at ceremonies just like this one for centuries. That music sets an age-old set of Latin lyrics, which begins as Gaudeamus igitur, nos habebit juventutum. That translates as, therefore let us rejoice, for we will always be young. This song speaks in a whimsical way of youth and old age at the very same time, at the brevity of life and the inevitability of death, of city, of state, and of happiness. Again, to the newest graduates of Macquarie University, my warmest congratulations and every best wish for success and lives filled with satisfaction and, most importantly, happiness. Now, might I please ask everyone to stand. Shortly, I will lead the official party out of the auditorium to be followed by the graduates. I then invite you all to join us and follow in the procession down to the Macquarie for light refreshments. In closing today's wonderful celebration of achievement and accomplishment, I say again, Gaudeamus igitur, therefore let us rejoice.